The best thing you could do is to just be the person they expect you to be. You're challenging their viewpoint of you, and the reason you are here is to make everyone else happy. So of course I'm kidding, but the way you go about this is different than you think, but doing these things I share in this video are gonna change everything. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you how to deal with friends and family as you go through your spiritual awakening process. And it's something I think that a lot of people are going through right now, because they're going through a spiritual awakening. I'm filming this 2 or 3 days before the holidays here in the United States. And it's interesting because you gotta have a lot of people that are around friends and family that may not totally understand them. And I remember when I went through my spiritual awakening, so much about me changed. I came out of my spiritual awakening and I wanted everyone to understand what I went through. And I didn't really even completely understand it, but I remember I went from feeling like I was at a 3 out of 10, with 10 feeling amazing, 1 feeling not so great. Then all of a sudden I was feeling like I was a 7 out of 10. I felt like I was high all the time, just walking around. I was meditating 2 or 3 times a day, and my whole entire life felt different. And I was, it was like I was excited to tell people about it. I was like, well, listen, your thoughts correlate with your experience. If you change your thoughts, you change your life. That was one aspect of it. Then I was also aware that, you know, this is an ego. This is a physical body that we use while we're here. But I believe that at a deeper level, we're so much more than that. And normally people that go through a spiritual awakening will have that, a derivative of that realization. And when you do, it's so much more empowering than believing we are just these physical flesh bodies. That's it. That's it. That's as far as consciousness goes. And believing that makes you feel like you're in a box. And most people believe that on autopilot. Now yesterday I was doing a live Q&A for something I have called the Shift Academy. It's a monthly group coaching and an inner circle that I have. And if you haven't joined, you want to check that out, I'll go ahead and link it below. And in it, there was 2 or 3 people that had a similar question. And their questions were in relation to them going through their spiritual awakening, their friends and family not getting it. And what do they do to get them to get it, or how do they navigate through that? So that's why I'm making this video as well, because I went through it in my own experience, but I wanted to share with you as well some of the blocks that really can have it, make it easier by knowing how to navigate through it. So the main part of this video though is knowing that the more you believe that you are separate from everybody else, the more you may start to have this spiritual ego. That's what happened to me. I got rid of my 3D ego, which was the old version of me that used to drink and party. That was that version of me. All of a sudden, I then began to meditate and observe my thoughts. And as I began to do that, I began to feel completely different. I started to then see myself as a higher vibrational person. And what happened is then, as I got rid of one ego, there was the spiritual ego that just came in the back door. And then what happened is that spiritual ego, you may not even be aware that it's there, but it's then this person that is higher vibrational, a person that many people just don't understand me. That can happen a lot too, because I became kind of bitter. I remember I was sharing the spiritual information with my dad, with some family, with some friends, and I heard about that some friends were talking about me and what happened to Aaron type thing, and I was like, what? What happened to Aaron? What do you mean? And then I realized, okay, maybe this stuff's a little bit different, talking about spiritual awakening meditation. And that when I had that, then I started to develop this edge. I was like, well, they don't get me. They're just still asleep. And I felt rejected, and I think that that was like a level of anger that was kind of coming out, that felt judged. And then then what I did is I judged them without even really knowing it. I was like, well, they're still sleeping, they don't understand it, they're not as high vibrational. These are the thoughts that'll go through the head. And then what happens? Then you start to create separation to where you can't feel connected to those people. And that's what happened to me. It's like I just did my own thing for months. I didn't even really talk to certain family members at all, because I just knew they thought that they didn't know what was going on with me. And what I did is I distanced myself. And for about 6 months, I just kind of did my own thing. I was living with my mom. It's back in 2012. I was living with my mom. I would go out every day and I would water all of these plants. I would connect with nature. I would lay in the sun and soak in the energy of the sun. I would just really enjoy my vegan food. I would meditate, or sometimes just lay on my bed, listen to spiritual music and look at my ceiling fan. And that's what I did for months. But then what I realized is I had a belief that I formed that people don't get me. I have a story I tell myself about people now. And because of that, I was creating separation without even knowing it. I was reaffirming there are no high vibe people in my life that get me. There's no one I'm really connecting with at a very deep level. Guess what happened? Self-fulfilling prophecy. That became my reality. People, not only did the people already in my life I didn't feel as connected to, but I was blocking out high vibe people from coming, what we'd call high vibe people, from coming into my life that I would then resonate at that higher level, at that higher, lower. It's understand with this process as well. Levels of consciousness, it's not I am better than you because I am at a 470 level of consciousness. And you, wow, you are at 275 drinking at the level of courage. 275? Yeah, that's the idea, right? It becomes this ego thing that you get trapped in. Everyone is just where they're at. And a lot of times this is the key. The key is if you want them to accept you, you got to accept them. And what I mean by that is they may not accept you initially. You want to know why? They are afraid of losing you. They're afraid of losing you. They were afraid of losing the Aaron that they knew. It was actually a very sad time. I remember my dad kind of broke down and was like, what happened to my son? He was like crying about it. And I was like, your son, he's not here anymore. Not the son that you knew. He's gone through a high vibrational spiritual awakening. He is of the 7th dimensional Pleiadian collective. I'm just kidding. See, that's the danger though of these different levels of consciousness, is that then that's the perspective. But it can be sad to family members. Have a little compassion for them. Your family members and your friends, they just miss the old you. But here, what's the alternative? You go back to being the old you. That's kind of what I did with one of the people that I was, this really cool guy I was coaching on the Zoom call, which is the way I do that, the Shift Academy coaching is by Zoom. So I bring people on, I talk to them. And I was playing devil's advocate in a way. I was like challenging it. I was like, what? You don't have to do anything. Just go back to being the way you were. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that, you know? And it was just to show that that's a ridiculous thought. Like, that's not even an option, really. You know, going back to the old you. And it kind of then makes you realize, well, I'm not going to do that. What is the alternative? Going back to the old you? Going back to drinking? You know, not that drinking's inherently wrong, but going back to like talking about the same thing and all of those things? Or did you come here to be bold? I believe many of us going through a spiritual awakening as high vibrational, 7th dimensional, I'm just kidding, but as high vibrational people that came to go through spiritual awakening, I believe that we spread ourselves out through many different families. It would have been very convenient if you and I and everyone else were to just incarnated into the same exact family, and we just grew up and we just knew all of this information and we never challenged each other and we always stayed with the expectation of what we have. It's so easy, right? Well, we came here because we wanted to go through a shift in consciousness. I believe at a collective level, there's a global shift in consciousness happening. Some, you know, there's still a range. There's some people that are still deeply in their old egoic materialism and perspectives. But we came to wake up in different families and different groups of friends so that it would influence more people in a powerful way. So I believe that we spread ourselves out for a reason. Now we're finding each other now. You right here, right now, look in the comments. Everyone in the comments is going to be in a similar vibration and have similar thought processes. But the key to this is becoming aware that to navigate through this spiritual awakening process, one of the best things you could do, you want to know what it is? Don't sell it. Don't sell it. When I came out, I was like, listen, your thoughts create your reality. Listen, you over there, your thoughts create your reality, blah, 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 to all my friends and family. And they were like, whoa, bro. Just let's talk about something else. And it would cause resistance because I was so excited about it and I wanted to share it, but they weren't necessarily open to it. So what I had to learn, this is what I learned to do. Just do you, boo-boo. Just do you. That's what I did. I just did me. So for literally, I mean, not that it has to take years, but for years, I eventually was working that 9-to-5 job, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna spread my message, do what I'm passionate about, which is making YouTube videos. I'm gonna do this. And as I started to act on my passion, I started to meet people in a similar vibration as me. So I got like Victor in my life, got Lior, got other high vibe friends that, high vibe, I mean, it's such an egoic term, but you know what I mean. That's the idea. Now there's other people that are in the same mindset, and it's because I was being me. When you are being you, you then will attract other people that will resonate with you in your authentic core. But if you're trying to people please and trying to make everyone else happy and trying to have people get you and accept you, then guess what? Then you're not being the real you, and you can't attract other people in a similar vibe, because, or if you do attract people in a similar vibe, you'll attract people that are also trying to be other people to make other people accept them. So know that one of the main reasons you came here was to be bold. To be bold. To be bold and to be you. Doesn't mean you have to sell this information and get people on board. I just share it, and people that resonate with it, my throat. And people that don't resonate with it, they don't find me, or they find me and they leave a comment and they say, this stuff is weird. How did I find this in my subscription feed? Which is totally cool too. So let me see if I forgot anything. So don't sell it. Accept them. When you accept them, they will then accept you. Don't need them to get you. Don't need them to get you, because if you need them to get you, then your happiness is dependent on whether they accept you or not. But ironically enough, accept them first, even if they don't accept you. And the irony is that by you putting out that energy, they then may feel that and then want to come around. I have so many friends and family from back in the day that thought when I started this whole spiritual awakening information and sharing on YouTube, they thought it was kind of nuts or crazy or weird and esoteric. But guess what? A lot of them are coming around now. So everyone, you may be planting seed with friends and family and not even know it. You may just be put it in the back of their pocket, like, oh, it's kind of weird that he's into this whole spiritual meditating stuff. But then they go out for 2 years and they're like, I'm having some difficulty in life. Maybe I should learn that meditation. Oh yeah, Chris right over there. Oh yeah, Margaret right over there. Let me ask them. So they're afraid of losing you. That makes it a little bit more compassionate as well. Yeah, let go of the view of being spiritual, and that some people are lower vibrational, because that could be a dangerous thing. That's a trap that many people can fall into. Now I will say as well, one of the best ways to connect with these other people, family and friends that may not get you, is doing a process called Ho'oponopono. If you've never heard of it before, I went to that Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins recently, and one of the main components of the healing aspect is that Ho'oponopono. And I have a meditation that you can listen to for 21 days to change your life. It's not even a meditation we have to lay down. You could do it while you're going to the gym. You could do it, I don't know if it's by going to the gym, it's kind of relaxing. But you could go to on your car ride to work, when you're walking around, when you're cleaning the house. It's 4 simple statements. And as you think of someone and you think of these 4 simple statements of, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. You begin to clear out your energy field, and you also begin to heal your connection, your, call it energetic cords between you and other people. It's extraordinarily powerful, and it's in the top of the description box below. Listen to that for 21 days. Watch how your life begins to change. Other than that, how are you navigating through spiritual awakening? Any challenges you have, any videos you want me to make, leave it below. Other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.